The last little while, it feels as though I've been doing too much of this and not enough of this. So let's do some of this. Grab the knife, put some chicken scratch on here. I'll sort the lines out as I go. No washing, just charcoal over the what do you call it, stain. Okay. Hopefully I don't make too much of a mess. And if I do, so be it. Bit of junk there. We don't want too much junk. But it's unavoidable. You're always going to get little flecks of stuff. Dry paint in your wet paint, etc. Using cad yellow pale, red sienna, bit of alizarin crimson, some cad orange, and some titanium white. And yeah, I often think with my hands, this little sort of laying a stroke in without touching the canvas, just thinking, okay, how's that going to be? It's a fairly quick process as a rule. And I'm wrong as often as I am right. But as the painting develops, you try to correct those wrongs, and eventually end up with something palatable. Oh, forgive that pun. Just using straight cat orange right now, but that tends to wash out really quickly. Yeah, it's nice to play with some deliberate strokes again. Cat orange deep. Just put a few flecks in there. A few flecks. I'm going to have to put some more on my palette because I know already that I'm going to be having a little more of that on the painting. Actually, why don't I do that right now? If I can find it. There you are. It's an old tube. I don't use much of it. Some shots of nice warm burnt sienna here. Getting away from our focal area, so we want to take things down a notch regarding chroma. Burnt sienna is still quite strong, obviously. Take a little burnt sienna and cad yellow pale. Now we'll go back up top. Bernstein and Cad Yellow Pale. A bit of ultramarine blue and some white. It's going to lean us a little bit in the direction of a green. Not a strong green. Just a hint. Just a bit. I know it doesn't look green right now, but that's because it's against a green background. Now we'll back away from the cadmiums. Let's grab a little bit of yellow ochre and ultramarine blue. That's gonna make us go even greener. Okay. Let's put a few shots of purple down here. It's going to be some areas that aren't so much in the sun. The canopy above the trees, probably stay away from the purple. When we come to the ground down below in some shadow, you know. We'll have a few strokes in there. So I'm going to grab some cobalt blue, a little bit of alizarin crimson. And I'm just, you know, I'm painting in the appropriate spots, hopefully, but what I'm really doing is establishing for my future reference that, yeah, I do want some purple, you know, on the ground cover. Because I do tend to get caught up in things and then I forget where I was going with it, and I don't really want that to happen. A couple of shots of straight alizarin crimson. Well, not straight alizarin crimson. I'm adding white, obviously. But not so much white that it goes pink, you know? I don't want magenta or anything. I just... Okay, so we sort of got our color scheme going there. Okay, back to the top. Back to yellow ochre and ultramarine blue. I think I'll add a little bit of burnt sienna to it so it doesn't go too cold. And we're going to drop our values a little bit here. I want to, in a way, frame this intense area with lower value and lower chroma colors as we go around. I mean, what's going to make this pop if you don't have dark area as well in the painting? Okay. Let's go back to some warmer colors. Paint some happy colors in there. Back to our cad yellow pale and cad orange. Cad orange light, I would say it is. And begin to tighten up some of the strokes that we have in here. Start to give the form, well, start to define the form a little more, or the forms, I should say. The forms, the shapes, what have you. Okay, let's see here. A bit of ultramarine blue now, and a little alizarin crimson, and some yellow ochre, and a bit of titanium white. Okay. That was a little more playing up here. Now we're going to go into the ground again. This time not cobalt blue, but ultramarine blue. With a bit of white, bit of alizarin crimson. That might be a little strong, or I should say a little bit low in value. How about that? me step back a moment here and have a peek. I think we're still on the right track here. I'm pretty happy with that for a start. Yeah, I think that's a good start. Not going to do tree trunks until later. Okay, I'll square the camera off so that you can see what I see. Okay, so, obviously some areas here are very insipid yet, but that's just because it's all wash-in showing through. There's no paint over it, here, right here, foreground. But it's coming together. Autumn scenes can often be sort of an easy go because if you can find a way to put some blues and purples into your shadows. Wow. Talk about complementary colors against the yellows and oranges and reds. I always like autumn scenes. Well, favorite time of the year for me. Around here it stays pretty wet as a rule, so we don't get colors as resilient as this for the most part, or as brilliant as this, I should say. But I have lived in other areas that do. And yeah, it's pretty inspiring to do that. So I can leaf through some old photographs, or if I need some inspiration. Sometimes we get some pockets of nice color here, so I'll go and visit them. Anyway, you can sort of see it's coming together. I'm trying to form a cradle here, on the right hand side. Our intensity will build towards the left. Our tree trunks will be a little darker here. Here this will probably catch a bit of light because it's against a darker background. We have, I'm not just going willy-nilly with my strokes, it may appear so, but while I'm, sort of doing those fairly quick gestural strokes, I'm also trying to ultimately come up with a design. I have something in my head that I want to sort of maintain as I go through the painting. You can see here there's a bit of sort of a ribbon of the green, a branch that still, well, it hasn't turned yet. So you have a bit of that. So if you have some curve and some movement, it helps to counteract all these very strong vertical lines. What I'll often do with the fall scene as well, an autumn scene, is I will paint the thing, and then towards the end of it I may put in a few shots like I've done here already of orange or something very high chroma or high value, and try to bring it in, try to bring some more of this rhythmic feel to it, some more curve, some interesting shapes within the shape as a whole. Makes for a nice final touch. But again, you're not just going blip, 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 blip. You're actually trying to think of a design in your head and put those shapes in such a way that they will support that design. Okay. See you soon, man. Man, woman. Both of you. Have a good day.